a story that began with silence. In that city, autumn always arrived quietly. First, the air grew colder. Then the leaves began to turn yellow. And then, suddenly, people started to speak less. Elena loved such days. There was something honest about them. No unnecessary noise. She lived alone in a small apartment on the 5th floor, overlooking an old park. Every morning began the same way: coffee, the window, music in her headphones. She had long grown used to being strong. Not because she wanted to, life had simply taught her to be. Love felt distant to her. Once, she had believed in it, waited for it, hoped for it, until one day it ended too painfully. Since then, Elena had decided loneliness was better than disappointment. But fate, as they say, doesn't like to be ignored. The meeting. It was an ordinary evening. It was raining. Elena was late and almost running down the wet street when she suddenly bumped into someone. Coffee spilled. Her heart jumped. "I'm sorry," they said at the same time. He was taller than her, with warm eyes and a slightly confused smile. His name was Maxim. He helped wipe up the coffee with napkins, laughed awkwardly, and then suddenly said, "You know, this might sound strange, but let me buy you a new one. There's a cafe right over there." She wanted to refuse, truly, but for some reason she couldn't. That's how their accident began. Between the lines. They started seeing each other more often, without loud words or promises, just walking, talking, being silent together. Maxim was different. He didn't pressure her, didn't rush her. He knew how to listen as if every thought of hers mattered. He talked about his dreams, about leaving, starting over, creating something of his own. Sometimes sadness appeared in his eyes, but he quickly hid it. Elena felt it. He was afraid of getting attached, just like she was. One night, sitting on a rooftop, he said, "It's scary to love, because you can lose everything." She replied softly, "It's scarier not to try." He looked at her, as if he had been waiting his whole life to hear those words. Love. Love didn't come at once. It crept in cups of coffee, in messages saying, "Are you home?" in the habit of falling asleep thinking about him. They laughed, argued, walked in the rain, hid from the wind under one scarf. Sometimes they just stayed silent, but in that silence there were more words than in any conversation. One day he took her hand, just like that, and she understood it was too late to run. But happiness rarely comes without trials. The separation. Maxim was offered a job in another city, a big chance, his dream. He hesitated for a long time before telling her, and when he finally did, his voice trembled. "I don't want to lose you, but I can't give this up either." Elena stayed silent. Everything inside her was falling apart. "You'll leave," she said, "and I'll stay. I'll come back." Everyone says that. They didn't argue, they didn't shout, they just hugged, for a long time, as if trying to remember each other forever. He left early in the morning. Waiting. Time moved slowly, messages became shorter, calls rarer. Elena learned to live without him, learned to be strong again. Sometimes she thought, maybe this is how it's supposed to be. Maybe love is just a beautiful episode. But every autumn, when the air smelled of rain, her heart would tighten. The return. A year passed. On the same day, at the same hour, she was walking through the park. Leaves were falling from the trees. The air felt just like it had back then. Elena. She turned around. He was standing there, a little different, more grown up, but with the same eyes. "I've realized one thing," he said. "You can chase a dream, but if the person you love isn't in it, it's empty." She was silent, afraid to believe.